I am making a Gorilla Tag fan game solely for the purpose of getting Jmancurly to play it. Today is day 15, and I started working on game 2 for the Curly games. Remember, if you guys are enjoying the series, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, make sure to join the official Discord server for this game with the link in the description. We'll be releasing mod apps again at 600 members. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first thing I started working on is I started working on the second game for the Curly games game mode. This second game is going to be called Chance, and it will be a luck-based game. Basically how it'll work is, one player will be called up to, like, the stage, and they will have to pick, tile 1 or tile 2. One of the tiles will allow you to move on to the next game, and one will send you back to the starting area to wait with the, other players who are waiting for the games to start. But in this video, I'm only going to be focusing on, building the layout for the second game. For the layout, I decided to go for the, like, Squid Game starting area look, with all the beds stacked on top of each other and like that. So as you can see right now, I'm just building the walls, and I'm connecting all the walls. I'm making it connect to level 1, the red light, green light game, and I'm making it, like, detailed and look good, as you can see here. I usually make all of my maps with Blender, but, for this video, I decided to use Pro Builder instead. I decided to use it because it's a lot easier to, like, adjust the walls in Unity when you use Pro Builder. Because, if you use Blender, you have to, Pro Builderize the model, and sometimes it can break and, like, leave, holes in the walls or something like that. So I decided to just be much easier to use Pro Builder, even though the actual building part is a lot weirder and, in my opinion, not as good as Blender's building process, but whatever. So as you can see, I finished adding the walls, and now I'm adding materials. I only finished adding walls for one part of the map. I didn't finish, like, the front part because I still have to, like, plan that out, as you can see. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding light beams, these neon light beams. In the Squid Game actual show, there are, like, light green light beams that are above the beds. So I thought, why not, for extra decoration, go ahead and add these. I thought they looked really cool. And they actually ended up looking really good in the finished product, as you'll see later in the video. This one wall, however, was giving me trouble, so I had to make a whole new cube, and as you can see, it looks a little weird, but I don't think a lot of players will pay attention to that when there's a whole other game for them to explore. It's just a small little detail, but I might fix it in the future. But now I'm adding the neon light beams, as I said earlier, and I'm adding the materials to them. I'm adding them on both sides of the wall, as you can see. I decided to add an extra one on the longer sides of the wall, rather than only having 3. And as you can see, they add a cool, cool detail to the map. And now I'm just grabbing a concrete material to add to the floor. For the roof, I just decided to put the green texture on the roof as well. By the way, the floor might look a little dark, the floor material, so I decided to grab another concrete material, a lighter one, and in the finished product, it actually ends up looking really good when it's baked, so just ignore how bad it looks right now. I will bake the lighting later in the video. So I decided to adjust the materials, and now I'm modeling a bed frame and also a, like, standing bed that stacks on top of one another. And I decided to use a pillow picture as a reference because I wanted to like, add the corners on the pillows just to add more detail. And as you'll soon see in the video, this ended up being a great feature. It added a ton of detail, as I just said, and it just made the pillow look a lot better than it would if I just used, like, a square or a cube or something like that. But I eventually finished using the reference and doing the outline of the pillow, and I gave it a 3D feature using the Solidify tool in Blender. And now I'm just beveling the corners and edges of the pillow just to give it extra detail and make it look like an actual pillow. And as you can see, I'm just adjusting the faces to make it look smoother and stuff like that. And I'm just adjusting even more faces. And now I go and look for a fabric material. I find the one I like, and I decide to use that one for the pillow. And as you can see, I'm adding the material, adjusting the material settings, and I also decided to use the same fabric material for the bed as well. By the way, you may think the bed does not have any detail at all, and that's because I decided to go how it was in the show, and I thought it would just add a whole lot more to the feel of the Curly Games game mode, like kind of relating to Squid Game, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I finished making the bed frame, and now I'm duplicating it to make it stack on top of one another. And now I'm adding support beams, as you can see here. I'm making them tall and slender, and I decided to add a black metal material because if you see in the picture I just brought up, you'll see that the beds in the actual show have a black metal texture, so I decided to just go for that as well in this. And I try to go for this pattern on the end, but it doesn't end up looking so well, so I decided to just make these straight beams on the end. And they ended up actually looking really well. They kind of matched the show, so I decided to just leave them. And now I decided to just duplicate the entire bed and add an extra bed frame and bed itself to make that kind of like stacking feature that's used in the show. And I decided to add another one of those. I think I went for a total of 4 stacked bed frames in total. I thought it looked really good, and yeah, it kind of added to the overall feel of the second game. So I duplicated it one more time, and I felt like I was done, so I decided to duplicate all that, add it over to the left to like make a set of them. And now I decided to add some stairs in the middle to, you know, help get to the top. This was also used in the show, so I decided to add it here to add to the overall feel. Again, because it was used in the show. And adding these stairs, it took about 30 minutes, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it because it ended up looking really good. While I'm making these stairs, I just want to remind y'all that I am releasing mod apps again in my Discord server when we hit 600 members. So if you haven't joined yet and you're new to this channel and this community, make sure to join the Discord server down below because I will be releasing mod apps very soon. We're at around 550 members right now, and yeah, we're really close to releasing mod apps again. So if you want a chance at that, make sure to join the server with the link in the description. But anyways, I exported the bed model and bed layout, and I added it into my Unity project, and now I'm just adjusting the materials within Unity, making them kind of shiny but not too shiny. And now I'm grabbing all the beds and putting the beds into their own group, and then I will grab all the like metal parts and put them into their own group, as you can see here. So we have bed and metal. This is so I can easily put the materials, the adjusted materials, on the metal instead of the beds. Because if I just did the metal and selected them one by one, it would have taken a whole lot longer. But now I just pixelized the fabric materials and also pixelized the metal materials. I'm definitely going to need that because I'm going to be making and duplicating a lot of these beds, and that will definitely make the game a whole lot laggier. So the more pixelization I can do on these materials, the less laggy the game will hopefully be. And I had to readjust the position of the beams because they were kind of blocking the bed, so I just did that. And now I'm adding more stairs to go up to the main part of this set, which is the actual game itself. As I said in the intro, this game is a luck-based game. It's going to be called Chance, and one player will be called up, and you will have to choose a tile. One of the tiles will eliminate you, and one of the tiles will allow you to move on to the next game. So yeah, for this game mode, I kind of wanted to go with a pattern of the games. I wanted to go for like a skill-based game, then a luck-based game, then a skill-based, then a luck-based. So I'm thinking the third game will be like Color Rush or something like that, and then the fourth game will probably be Glass Stepping Stones or Glass Bridge, however you call it. But yeah, that's kind of my like idea behind all this. But as you'll see, the walls were giving me trouble. As I said before, I don't like using Pro Builder, and this is exactly why. Sometimes the walls can kind of get bugged and like not have good scale. So whenever I extrude them, they like are all wonky and have weird rotations and weird scales. That's why I prefer using Blender, but sometimes I have to use Pro Builder for the maps to like actually work and to be able to adjust the maps to my liking. But as you'll see here, I'm trying to extrude the walls and they are just not doing a good job. So I had to make an entirely new cube for the second part of the wall, which is the green material, not the checkerboard material, but the green material. As you'll see in the background, there are two different materials on two separate parts of the walls. So that's why I had to like play around with this a lot and make the walls look good. As you see, I finally get it figured out, and I decided to just go with a whole new cube for the roof, because I was not going to go through all that struggle again to get this right. And now I add the checker material on the lower part of the wall, and I readjust the scaling to fit everything else. And now I add the dark green material to the top of the wall and the roof, and it ends up looking great. Now I adjust the materials for the stairs and other part of the floor I made, the concrete materials. And as you can see, that also ends up looking great. And there was this one part of the floor and the wall that were kind of like didn't have the right materials, so I quickly adjusted those. And as you can see, I'm trying to figure out what else to do for this. I was trying to figure out what kind of props I wanted to make, and I eventually figured it out. I decided to add a welcome to the game, which the game's called Chance, so I decided to make welcome to Chance text to kind of greet the players to either them being alive or them dying in the game. And I didn't want all the players to come up here at once. I wanted one player to come up here and choose their tile, and then if they move on or die, the next player comes up. So I didn't want all the players just crowding the top part. So I decided to add a glass barrier. And now I'm adding the actual prop itself of choosing which tile you want. One of the tiles will be tile 1 and another one will be tile 2, and as I said before, one of them will either kill you or one of them will allow you to move on. It won't always be the same. I just want to make that clear. Every time you play, it will be randomized. It won't always be the same, because what would be the point of that? So don't expect it to always be the same. But as you can see, I decided to add a wood material to the prop, and now I'm just adjusting the wood material. I'm adjusting the UVs on it to fit my liking and make it look good, as you can see here. And now I'm adding the actual tiles themselves. After I adjust the materials, I decide to add the actual tiles. And the model may look weird now, but trust me, it ends up looking like completely natural in the game. And yeah. So I had to quickly adjust the materials once again because I decided to cut out a certain part of the model for it showing text instead. And I decided to add a plastic kind of material to this cutout part. As you can see here, I'm looking for the material and I finally find it and add it. So the reason I cut out this part is because it will display text that shows tile 1 and tile 2, so you don't get confused on which tile to pick if you want to do 1 or 2. So eventually I do finish the model and I export it into Unity and then import it. And as you can see, it definitely fits the theme. I have to just adjust the model and it honestly fits perfectly. I really like the way this model turned out. And yeah. And I do change the text up top from saying welcome to Chance to displaying the correct tile, as you can see here. And that's all I got done today. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I've been loving making these videos for you guys, and I can't wait until Jman plays the game. Please consider subscribing if you did enjoy the video, and once again, make sure to join the Discord server. We're almost at 600 members, and I will be releasing mod apps once we hit it. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all from me. Bye.